to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Rob, not joined by Drew. Womp, womp, womp. But doesn't mean we don't have a jam-packed show for you today. It's me, Robbie. I want to go get this show on the road because we got a lot to cover. You guys think we're just going to sit here and cover about the week 14 against the Ravens? You think we want to talk about how we think we're going to beat up on the Ravens, how we're going to win this game, how we're going to go up against Lamar Jackson, MVP? No. You think we're going to talk about how we're going to stop Derrick Henry in this game? No. What we're going to talk about is some roster moves. Yes, the Giants themselves have made so many darn moves in this game. It's ridiculous. It is absurd. It's like we're playing to go to the playoffs. How can this be? 2 wins, 11 new players. I don't understand. But this is where we're at in the season. And you know what? I'm bored because there's some good stuff going on right now. So let's dive right into it, guys, because Drew's not here. He's on the road. He'll be on tomorrow night. We will cover some of this Ravens game. We'll also go over our picks for the week. I guess we should have talked about Thursday Night Football, but him and I will put that offline, and maybe we'll do a little short to put it in there for you guys. So this way you know who Drew and I picked. This way we're complete transparency. So let's start off. Let's talk about some of the news that's going on in this game. First off, you have Tommy DeVito to be expected to start against the Ravens. Yes, you heard it here. The Giants are expected to start Danny, the guy who brought the OnlyFans girl to the stadium last week, to start. So that should be interesting. Drew Lock was actually reportedly seen in a boot today on practice. So expect DeVito to start the last 3 games of the season. Probably don't expect these guys to be in the field next year. Daboll announced it today, but Daboll also did say that the Lock was in a boot walking around. He just kind of said, yeah, Lock's hurt. DeVito's going to start, and this is what's going to happen. But in the 2 games that DeVito has played, he completed 21 of 31 pass attempts for 189 yards, and has not thrown a touchdown in any of these games or an interception. So I guess there's a plus there. But if you're just kind of throwing the ball a couple yards each time, you're probably not doing your job right as a quarterback. You'd like to see some TDs there. Ooh. He's also been sacked 4 times, and he lost 23 yards of that. So if you want to do like some quick math on there, this guy's 166 positive yards on his play. So has he played well? Locke was suited up as a backup through this game is pretty unlikely. But Locke, let's talk about him real fast. Because DeVito's complete percentages has been 67.7% compared to Drew Lock's in 2 games was 51.1 yards, but he also threw for 414 yards in those 2 games. But he also had 0 touchdowns, and he had one really weird pick, which was a pick 6, and another pick as well. So, So, Locke being in the boot, you're going to expect Tim Boyle, who just resigned to the practice squad. Let's remind you, we just talked about this recently. he'll be called up from the practice squad, most likely to be the backup in this game. And yeah, that's it. We also got a ton of injuries, of resigns. It's crazy. Not resigns, but just new additions to this team. Like, first up, Mr. Tyler Newman. His season is over. He was placed on the IR effectively this morning. His ankle injury is they're gonna cut him out. There's 3 games left of the year of this year. So you're gonna take this draft pick and you're gonna sit there and try to play him. Why? Shut him down. At this point, at how bad we've been playing, you just shut down this team pretty much until next year when we hopefully draft the right quarterback. His rookie year ends with 98 tackles, 1 forced fumble, and a fumble return. So, like, Newman, as a rookie, especially where we got him late, Drew and I both talked about, is this the right guy? Should we get him in the 3rd round? Maybe. No, I don't know. Well, yeah, he's done for the year. But up next, Giants elevated Greg Stroman. He was called up to the active roster due to the injury to Tre Hawkins III, Esquire. He has 4 tackles in 3 games so far this season and has a 71.7 PFF grade. Not too shabby as a guy that's been on the practice squad. His first game with the Giants, he was replaced with Deonte Banks when he was benched by the Giants against the Steelers. Yeah, so his first game, he took over for Banks. So hopefully he comes out of balls because he didn't play bad, but he also played the way you would play a guy who was just activated because the guy wasn't playing well. With all the injuries in the secondary, he could see some decent time on the field because let's face it, everyone's going to shut down in the back of the field, the front of the field, and all over the place. Up next, let's talk about some other exciting news because the Giants has literally just grabbed the paper and act like they're signing a mortgage and just sign players pretty much all day today. The Giants sign Devod Wilson. He's also nicknamed Newt. He's 24 years old. He's 6 foot even, 195 pounds. UDFA in 2023 from UFC, and he also played at Georgia before that originally signed with the Jaguars. So once again, this is a guy that we signed from the Jaguars as a secondary. Let's look at how well they've played this year, where they let him go. He spent most of last year on the practice squad for the Cardinals, another great defense last year. He was in 2 games, including the first start with 1 start and had 5 tackles. He spent most of this year so far on the practice squad, as well as appearing in 2 games, but just 12 special team snaps in those games. So, and with those 12 snaps in special teams, there's no stats to give. So this has been a guy that probably going to be on our special teams. Maybe not. I mean, let's also be real. The Giants, it's a lot of injuries that's happened in the past few weeks. Their roster is looking pretty slim, and they're going to have to fill that 53-man roster somehow. Eek. He was also known for being a hard hitter, Swiss Army knife type of player in college. So there's some glimmer of hope. Maybe he can help us against the Ravens. Yeah, when you're talking about a tight end, talking about the heavy hitting Derrick Henry, maybe not. We shall see. But the Giants also signed someone else, guys. Giants signed Ross Blacklock. He was signed to the practice squad today. He's 26 years old. He's 6'5". And he's 307 pounds. He's definitely the guy that's going to get announced out against the Ravens on Sunday, saying, defensive lineman, Ross Blacklock, University of Texas. Let's go. It was a second-round pick in 2022 from a TCU by the Texans. Guys, this is 2024. It's 2 years ago he was drafted. Something to be alerted about. After 2 disappointing seasons, he was traded to the Vikings for a 6th-round pick. But he also only lasted a year there. So about a second-round pick that was traded for a 6th-round pick who didn't last. He also played for the Jaguars and the Titans, which are Titans are a better defensive team than a lot of people give them credit for, but they're not a good team overall. And the Jaguars are literally, at best, the 30th ranked defense in this league, typically held around that 32 mark. Let's remind everyone, there's 32 teams in the NFL. So, Ross signed to our defensive line this year, but then again, we also don't have much guys on the line, especially with Sexy Dexy, the powerhouse he is, not being there. He appeared in 44 games and has 3 starts in his career, 40 tackles, 3 sacks, 9 QB hits, and 5 tackles for loss. So there's some glimmer of hope there, but once again, when you're talking about signing players in December, there's really not much out there because you're pretty much you're shooting at the bottom of the barrel, hoping for the best, because the good pickings, the flow to the top, is already on a playoff caliber team, most likely. And Drew, this guy's for you, because the Giants signed Echo boye-doe to the practice squad. Yes, Echo Boye. UDFA from Kansas State in 2023 by the Chiefs. He was an undrafted free agent, by the way. For guys don't know any names there. 25 years old, 6 foot even, 177 pounds, which kind of goes with that 2023 draft, 2024 draft. Those guys were pretty slender compared to the rest of the draft going around. He was born in Africa. He got a Super Bowl ring with Kansas City last year, but hey, if you're on the Kansas City practice squad last year, yeah, you got a ring. So he's done something more than 99.99% of the people alive have done today. He's got himself a Super Bowl ring. And the Giants got a Super Bowl ring caliber player on their team right now in the practice squad, because that's where he pretty much played. He's been a free agent since cut by the Chiefs in the training camp. So shows you what that Super Bowl ring really meant for this guy. In 6 games last year, he had just 16 defensive snaps and 84 special team snaps. Once again, another guy that's played pretty well on special teams. And he's probably going to be starting or a backup for the rest of the year for the Giants because we are banged up beyond belief and just shutting people down. Can we just roll out that beautiful tank? Just but yeah, that's don't expect too much from this guy. Let's go to Pro Football Network. Said that when he went into this draft, that Echo has flash ability in the past 2 seasons, yet he has limitations. He offers possibilities in a zone system as a dime back. Echo must play well on special teams to have a place at the next level, which, once again, I just said, you're talking about the NFL. It's a little different from the NFL when you're talking about special teams there. He's yeah, in good times by the Giants. But after that, the Giants have signed Azizi Hearn to the practice squad. Once again, another guy to the practice squad. Yeah, he's 25 years old. He's 6'1". He's a cornerback, and he's 204 pounds. So he's got that built of where you want to be as a cornerback. But once again, it is the middle of December, and you're trying to sign people to the active roster off of other people's practice squads or some people that have been free agents. It's a rough go, especially because Azizi was an undrafted free agent from UCLA. The Raiders picked him up, which shows you what the NFL thought about this guy in 2023. The Raiders got you. He spent a pair of seasons each in Arizona and in Miami before going to UCLA. So he did, 5 years in college, if you will. And he's also yet to appear in an NFL game, but has spent time with the Raiders, the Patriots, and the Panthers during training camp or on their practice squad. So he's done the tour of the very, very successful teams and teams with great cornerbacks. Womp. Maybe not. Given his lack of success as a 3 prior stops, he won't hold out a lot of hope for great results for the Giants. Let's just try not to be too mean about this guy, but this is where it's at. Also, the Giants worked out cornerback Gilmore. Yes, the Gilmore. The Gilmore's over there. This is Stephen Gilmore Jr., not to be confused with his brother, who also is a former 5-time Pro Bowl cornerback, Stephon Gilmore. Yes, I purposely just said cornerback Gilmore because Did I do that? It's kind of a little funny that especially these guys in their age, as parents, name their kids Steve and Stefan during the heights of TGIF and Family Matters. Because you have the one cool, well, actually, you got the nerdy Steve Urkel, and he got the cool Stefan, smooth Stefan. And yeah, we got Steven. We got did I do that as your yeah, we got the nerdy guy. But hopefully that helps him dissect the field a little bit more. Excuse me. He's 25 years old. He's 6 foot even, 174 pounds. Once again, these guys are tiny in this draft here. Well, in the 2023 draft, if you will. He originally signed undrafted free agent out of Marshall in 2023 by the Lions. The Lions, let's be real, they've made a big difference on their defense, which is not saying a lot because their defense wasn't all that great last year. But if you're getting kicked out of the Lions, it's probably not the best place to be kicked out of. He appeared in 3 games last year for the Lions and had 2 defensive snaps to go along with 14 special teams. As, oh my goodness, the man, the myth, the legend, who has been terrible at coming in because he was supposed to be on the road, but decided he must come in and hither and talk.
Once I fix where we're at here, hold on.
There
we go. Now I'm me, you are you. And what happened to controlling the settings here? I'll figure it out later. Something got changed.
Good question. But yeah, Steve was cut from the end of the camp this year and has been a free agent since. And he's also not currently signed by the Giants, where Drew coming in. You missed the Steve Urkel impression.
Did you do that? Did I do that? Oh God, that's like the truffle shuffle you're doing now. It's a whole different thing.
But he always pulled up his pants that had suspenders until I did that.
I thought you were about to like flash somebody the way you were going though.
Yeah.
You took it to that next level.
You have to go above and beyond. Come on, man.
No, you don't. Not with that.
Oh. The question is, am I an anchor man? Do I have pants on? Do I not?
Probably not.
Should we stand up and find out?
No. I want to know. If I'm right, I find out in ways I don't want to know.
Yeah.
All righty.
Maybe.
Am I getting here at the end? Is that what's going on here?
You are.
Oh. That's it happens.
Yeah. But Drew, what do you think about all these different changes that the Giants had to do due to injuries just to keep a 53-man active roster to go finish out the last 3 weeks of regular season?
I mean, it's pretty obvious the tank is on when you're signing people off the streets that aren't even on practice squads. Like,
I mean, even if you're not trying to tank, it's kind of obvious that they don't have enough personnel to cover the roster. They have to just keep a roster active.
But I mean, like Ross Blacklock is the perfect example. Like, here's a guy who literally was a 2nd-round pick a couple years ago, fails with the Texans, fails with the Vikings, fails with the Jaguars, fails with the Titans. He's failed for 4 teams already. He's been walking the streets basically all year long. And we're like, oh, here, come on down.
Yeah, come to me. Hey, I'm
guy
here.
On a practice squad somewhere we can take from at least that maybe got some potential. Like, I just find this hard to believe that the tank is on.
Yeah, well, like I said, there's 2 wins and 11 roster moves today.
Yeah. A lot of stuff there. A lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty much, yeah, you're 100% right. We're shutting down for next year. It's kind of obvious.
Yep. If you're even slightly injured, you're going on the IR.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at it, we're week 14. You got 3 weeks left of regular season football.
Yep. And they're going to protect people to make sure they're healthy for next year. They're going to ensure the losses. It is what it is.
Yeah. It's actually kind of funny at this point. It's a little sad, but it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I'm not going to know half the roster when I go to the game in Atlanta next week.
No, you're not.
Who's this guy? It's like a preseason game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. How cheap are the tickets now for the Ravens matchup now?
Last I looked, it was $22.
Oh my god. That's bad.
Flat out sad.
Yeah, that's just. And again, don't give your money to Mara. Teach him a lesson. You want to get people in the stands to care? Put a damn product on the field that makes us want to care.
Yeah, on Sunday, I'm gonna continue my pilot's license in the New York East Redford area.
So it's like $35 what I'm seeing to go to the game right now. That's still nothing.
Yeah. Granted, the last time I went to the game was like $200 for nosebleeds. So
that's what I'm saying. So, all right. So, anything else left to talk about?
We got a comment from Deb that I have not gone through yet. We also got to pay the bills.
Oh, you pay the bills? Yeah, pay the bills, and then we'll get to the comments.
Listen,
enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
It's actually kind of funny. I was reading Deb's comment because it's pretty much the highlight of the episode today.
Yeah.
She said, heard today that Newman is now injured. Interesting theory going around. All of the injuries are the Giants pulling guys out of I just stumbled over words. Are the Giants pulling guys out that they don't want hurt in effect of tanking?
Yeah, I think they are. They're never going to admit it, but I think they are.
Listen, if you have a slight ankle sprain, IR. Like you're pretty much at this point. I've said a couple times in this episode, you're 2-11 injuries, like 2 wins, 11 injuries. Like we're not going anywhere. We could win out and get 5 wins for what?
It's done. Season's over. Move on.
Yeah.
We're not past go. We're done.
Yeah. At this point, just grab some popcorn. Act like you're watching a comedy instead of a drama, and enjoy the rest of the season because we're gonna have a fun time watching the Ravens game this week.
So, did you mention Bill?
I did not. I was waiting for you.
I was asking if anything was left, and you're like, "Yeah, everything's done." Let's talk about Bill, because Giants fans were excited. Giants fans thought, "Here's this guy who loves the Giants franchise, who's got ties to ownership still. He's got freaking 6 Super Bowl rings. It's like a guy who, like, everybody knows is like a legendary, one of the best coaches to ever be in the league." And there's the rumor that he wants to beat Don Shula's record. Needs to, I think, about 14 wins to do it. And then there's the rumor that he was looking at being a head coach still. And obviously there's the rumor that we might fire Brian Daboll.
Rumor has it.
But, there's also a rumor we won't, so I'm not saying we're going to. But yeah, Bill Belichick has officially taken the offer as the head coach at UNC, the University of North Carolina. And I just find that extremely ridiculous. So they just let go 73-year-old Mac Brown. They wanted a younger set of eyes in there and brought in 72-year-old Bill Belichick to be their new head coach there. That 1 year.
Well, it's also his girlfriend's 24, 26. So there's definitely a younger set of eyes in that stadium.
I don't think she's the one looking at the X's and O's.
Well, they're really looking. Never mind. It's PG.
there might be some O's involved, but not some.
Yeah, and explicits.
But yeah, I mean, it's just the whole thing's very shocking, and honestly, I think this says to me that the rumors that Brian Daboll may be coming back are a little bit more legitimate in my eyes now, because Bill has supposedly coveted this job for a long time. And, you heard, Julian Edelman talking on a podcast about how he thinks that he would jump at the chance to be the Giants, new coach here. He left. You don't think he's talking to Mara? If he really wanted this job, you don't think he's talking to Mara and say, hey, I know you can't talk about this too much, but should I be applying elsewhere?
Yeah, you would think just like, hey, mutual respect. You don't have to tell me, but is there an opportunity coming soon?
Yeah,
because college wants to sign me to a 5-year deal.
Yeah,
which I would then be 77 if you want to hire me.
Yeah, the whole thing is just, I never thought I'd see it. And honestly, guys, I cannot see Bill Belichick going house to house trying to talk parents into, being okay with the kid going there. And I can't imagine him, and no offense to him age-wise, I don't mean to be a jerk about it. I can't imagine Bill Belichick being able to develop a relationship quickly with an 18-year-old, 17-year-old. And that's what you have to do in this. That's what it's all about. If you notice, the people who succeed, a lot in college are people who are very charismatic, people that are the instant leaders of that kind of way. Now, Bill Belichick is a leader, yes, but he's not a charismatic one. Like, he's the guy who's going to be at the couch at the kid's house, like complaining about the way the meal is cooked for him.
Well, it's funny because you see like a little bit of Bill, like outside of just like watching my games, like when he was on Mana podcast, you see him like do some other stuff. Like, he's a little more lively than like we've seen of him for decades.
Yeah,
on the field, on the sideline, looking like a gay ant.
But it's different because it's not business at that point like that. He can relax. He can just say his thing. He doesn't have to worry about how he appears to the rest of the team. You know what I'm saying? There is
I hear what you're saying, but like sometimes when you go for a job interview, the interviewer is a little more uppity and charismatic until you get hired.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what you would do when you're scouted.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be difficult, and you got to keep in mind also the time period we're looking at here. Like the kids now, think about the fact they're 18 years old. Okay, let's say hypothetically, or in reality, it's 17, 16 when you're recruiting, really. So let's even say there. So that's 2008. 2008 when these kids were born. So they really were watching football really until like, what do you want to say, 10 years ago? 2014?
And he was in the middle of a dynasty with the Patriots?
He was at the end of it, though. I mean.
Yeah, but so they grew up watching football. Who's the best team in the NFL? Oh, the Patriots. They got so many wins. So they got the greatest head coach and the greatest quarterback playing from right now. You don't think there's any highlights over there? You don't think these kids in college know, like...
Oh, I know they know, but what I'm saying is it's different because you're looking at a guy who a lot of his heyday was before they were born, before they were old enough to watch and enjoy football. I just don't know how much of that is portrayed like that. Now, the parents are probably really impressed when he comes home because to talk to them about their kid going to that school because of that. I just can't see him doing that and enjoying that. I really can't. And I think he's going to set it up. Somebody else does that for him, basically.
I can see that, but I also can see you have the opportunity to play for a legend. You grew up knowing this guy played for a legend. Your father was probably really big into football, or both your parents are really big into football, and they tell you this guy has been a dynasty since I was a teenager.
But now he's a dinosaur.
It doesn't matter. You're going to play for a legend, and people will jump at that opportunity.
I just don't know if he's held in the same regard with the younger kids that he is to somebody our age that grew up watching him from, I mean, you know, from the 80s on with the Giants onward at that point, there's a difference. There really is. It's the same as like, let's say, for example, okay, let's use this as an example. I think the timeline works out correct. And this is going to be an odd analogy, but I promise I'm going somewhere with it. Look at the people now that are doing concerts like Jennifer Lopez, Justin Timberlake, people that were popular, you know, 20 years ago. When Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick, sorry, wrong Bill. But Bill Belichick was at the height of his popularity, really. You don't see the kids going to their concerts because now that's like your parents' music and all. There's a difference, I know, between music and sports. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know that he's held in the same regard by that generation as he is by the previous ones. I don't know. I don't mean that as a positive, negative, as far as definite either way. I not qualify because I'm an old bastard.
I understand what you're saying. And typically, when we were kids and older generations were kids, it was different because you had to watch tape. You had to pull up tape. You had to go to Blockbuster. You had to go to Hollywood Video. You had to go to one of these stores, get a VHS, and watch old school football and tape of it. We got something that's cool. It's called YouTube and the internet, where you can pull up tape and see highlights of what this guy's done, different plays, and just see what they have done. And you can watch 20 years of clips in 20 minutes and be like, wow, this guy is fantastic. Because you know what your music reference has been making a big comeback, especially with the younger crowd that skipped. So it's been pretty big hit with the Gen Z, which is the crowd that's coming up now, is Limp Bizkit.
Well, it's because Limp Bizkit's really good, but still. They did it all for the cookie.
So you can take that cookie and stick it up your...
But here's the example I'm going to use on this, because I think I figured out a good analogy for us here in this whole thing. So for those of y'all that are watching, listening, that you know, maybe, you know, like our age at that point, late 30s, early 40s, that kind of age. If you had the chance as a 16-year-old to go play for Bill Walsh, would that have excited you? Or would it have been too long ago for you to understand who he was?
If Bill Walsh played in modern time and was in a similar situation, yes. Because once again, those technology-driven kids and those crazy TikTok videos could watch highlights.
Watch old school football like that. I really don't.
You're right. You're right with the average football fan
playing.
You're right, as the average football fan. But when your dedication is to go to the NFL and learn from the best and watching the best highlights, seeing what the best players have done, seeing what the best coach has done, you're going to look at that history and you're going to find out who's trying to draft you. You're going to look at any person nowadays that's under a millennial. Before they go on a date with someone, they're going to look at their history. They're going to go on their social media output. They're going to see what they've done in the past. They're going to see stupid comments you made 20 years ago. And that's just the average person looking to go on a date. You're talking about someone that's going to get drafted by the NFL. There's a college player that's going to get scouted. You're not going to look at the coach, the legacy, and his history? Drew, you're absolutely amazing. Ridiculous for not thinking
no.
that the generation wouldn't do that. But I know what you're saying. But
when you watched it as a football fan who was old enough to understand what was going on to somebody who didn't at that point. Same as like you see people now talking about Dan Marino as if he's not one of the best quarterbacks ever because they're looking at, you know, the fact that they're looking at the stats, the videos, but it's not showing the full picture of how good he was as a player. I just don't know if a coach like him gets put in that kind of high regard, being the difference in generation. And I'm being very frank when I say I don't know. I'm not saying it's either way. You know, I would imagine UNC would go ahead and have people look into that kind of stuff and, you know, have informal surveys or whatever they do at that point to figure that stuff out. I'm not on a college marketing team, but I mean, I would hope they would figure that part of it out, you know, and I'm sure he has some kind of plan built himself because he's got to understand that there is, you know, a 60-year age gap almost with these players. And, you know, maybe that's why he's dating this 25-year-old is to get a little more perspective of the younger mind.
Could be, but
how many? It's for her mind.
Yeah. All right. So we just talked about who is he replacing?
Mac Brown.
How old is Mac Brown?
74. Was it 1 year old?
The players go to play.
Belichick was 72. He's 73.
The players go to play. The players get scouted and drafted to play for him.
What? I'm sorry.
The players get like scouted. The players go. People get scouted go play for Brown.
It depends on what you want to say. Play.
There's a legacy behind Bill Belichick, and especially like I said.
Oh, I'm just saying because you're using that as an example. Like North Carolina has not exactly been a powerhouse.
I'm just saying, like Saban, bring up a name that an older generation that just recently retired. What's his face for Penn State before he started? Or what's his face at Penn State before he started touching kids? Or before he came out. People went over to play for him, and he was an old man. It's around there. Like people know legacies, and they will play for legacies. And once again, if you're that into football and you're looking to go to get a scholarship, you're probably studying tapes of what these people.
No, like I said, what you're saying is 100% the truth. But what I'm getting at is he's not competing against a high school football coach. He's competing against other people that there's also tape on that have college experience and are a whole lot more of a charismatic character when it comes to the selling part. Like Bill Belichick, let's put it this way. Like if Bill Belichick worked at a furniture store, I'm not buying the sofa. That's part of the job now for him. It used to be GM gets the players, I coach them up. That's my job. It's a different ball game. And I do think also to a certain degree, this is a different generation than what he dealt with, to the point of they might not take kindly to some of the way he coaches.
You're not wrong with that. But once again, there's a legacy there. Name a tractor for me.
Yeah.
Name a tractor for me. Name a tractor company.
You want a tractor company?
Yeah.
John Deere is obviously the biggest name out there.
Bill Belichick. You don't think Bill Belichick is the biggest name out there when it comes to the NFL? And if you want to go play for the NFL and you're getting scouted, you don't think you want to go play for Bill Belichick, who has got the most Super Bowl rings? You don't think you want the ability to say that you had the honor to play with Bill Belichick? You don't think Bill Belichick, his systems will help develop you and like, oh, there's a legacy of players here?
But I might also look up and research tractors and say I prefer a New Holland over a John Deere.
You might, which is part. Listen, part of the scouting job is one for the college. It's also two for the player.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not saying this is going to fail. I'm not saying that he's not going to be able to get kids. I'm just saying there's things that make it not a certainty in my eyes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm just there's two sides of it. Like there's definitely going to be players that are going to be like,
you're not wrong, and I'm not trying to say that by any shape of the imagination. All I'm saying is I think there's a little more risk than some people might think because of the age difference, because of the personality concerns, because of the fact that he's also never coached college. There is a difference, and I know he was interested in this job because his dad was an assistant coach for UNC back in the 50s, and they talked about that. He had 3 years. His dad, Steve, was a assistant coach there, and he had a lot of fond memories growing up there. But the fact that we're talking about the fact that he grew up going there in the 50s.
Screaming, get off my lawn.
Think about it. These kids, their parents are like our age. So like he was going to school to UNC with his father when most people's like parents weren't even born. Their grandparents may not even been born yet. Like I'm just saying, there's an age gap, and I do think it matters more, especially because like you mentioned, Nick Saban, which is obviously the classic example because Nick Saban's probably the best college analogy for what Belichick's done. So I get why you went there, and it's a great, like I said, it's a great analogy to use. But here's the problem you do still run with that, though. Nick Saban was in, year out with these college kids. He changed up a little bit probably every single year to adapt to the changing style because of the changing in generations. Bill Belichick didn't.
You're right. Not at the college level, not at the
college level,
but when you spend 4 decades in the NFL, those college players are the ones that are going up to the NFL. So
Correct.
there is adapting to those players.
So
the thing that's going to be the hardest for Bill Belichick is to come in. There's going to be players that are not NFL caliber. They're going to come in. Granted, as a coach, you get the best out of your players, but they're going to go there for a scholarship. Like, I might just go there because I want to be an engineer and I got a free ride because I could sit there and be a tank in the middle of the line.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more risk to this whole thing. I mean, and plus, North Carolina hasn't been good in forever. They haven't won an ACC championship since 1980. Again, I'm not even that old. It's 44 years. 44 years. By the way, Bill Belichick was almost 30 the last time that happened. So I'm just saying.
Touche. But my whole thing, and you're not wrong for what you're saying either, but my whole thing
that's what I'm saying. I think you and I are both in the same boat as far as that. Like, we're just playing the different sides of the coin.
Yeah.
But either side is the potential right result. And neither one of us know.
No, because once again, like, you're going to have players that get approached by Belichick or like assistant of Bill Belichick, and they go, "How many Super Bowl rings? How many Super Bowl appearances?" Oh, well, I'm not in the NFL yet, but I want to be. What do I have to do to get there?
Yeah.
And who has the most experience in the NFL and college? Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I don't know. And I gotta wonder why Bill would even do this, to be very frank. I feel like this is a lot of risk for him. No, but here's the thing. This has a lot of risk and not a lot of reward for him personally. Now, a lot of the rumors are that he had getting it written into the contract that his son would be taking over when he was done. And I wonder if this is more about is trying to set his son up for success, because he can go ahead and get a couple classes in there, build the program up, and then just hand the keys to his son and say, "Here you go."
Could be.
And I just, like I said, to me, there's a ton of risk with that there. And I'll be honest with you, like, I'm not trying to listen, I'm not the anti-Nepo baby or whatever the hell a term is they use nowadays for these kids who come from famous parents. But if I was, I think Stevens' his name, it's the one with the mohawk, whatever his name is with them. You know what I'm talking about? The one with the mullet mohawk thing, like I think it's mullet. I think it's not a mohawk, it's just a mullet. But he's if I was him, I wouldn't want to be handed a job like that. I'd want to earn it.
I was about to say, especially you're going to be in the spotlight.
Like, I already got enough money probably from being assistant coach with these years at this point. He's assistant coach with Bill, obviously New England, now going to UNC with him at that point. Like, he's going to make enough money where he's going to be fine. Not to mention the fact that his daddy's got enough money to bail him out of anything he needs in life. But I'm just saying, I would not want to get a job that way, honestly, because how would I, if I'm a kid coming into the school, take you serious when you got the job because your daddy got it written into the contract?
Yeah.
Imagine when the first time you had the conversation of, you have to earn this, you have to earn that. And you go, well, you didn't earn this shit.
Or the epoxy, now flipping sides, the epoxy of Bill Belichick. You got to earn. You want to be in the field, you got to earn this. What about your son?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not trying to attack him merely because he was blessed to come from a rich family at that point with a father who can set him up for success. I'm not hating on that in any way, shape, or form. But you still can't silver spoon hand him stuff. That's beyond just being a Nepo baby, because that kind of stuff opens up doors that you and I would not have. Let's be honest. Like, he can walk in and say, "I'm Bill Belichick's son," and get an assistant coaching job somewhere like nothing.
Yeah.
But
you see him on the sidelines.
Yeah. That's only going to get him so far.
Dad?
Yeah.
What should I do? What should I do, Dad?
But I'm saying it's only going to get him so far. And now instead, he's being handed a franchise, basically a college team, in a couple of years. And that's a sad look. That really is. That's kind of an embarrassment for the Belichick family and for UNC if that does go down that way. You got to earn the spot. And when Bill's done and they think he's the best guy, why would they not hire him if they think he's the best guy?
Because he also comes with Bill Belichick.
Just saying. So, all righty, guys. Well, I think that calls it a night for us then. There, we got going over everything now. So, again, guys, we'll be back again tomorrow night for you guys. We'll have a lot to talk about there as well, because there's even some topics we were going to have today that we just couldn't fit in because there's so many moves being happened, and then The Bill Belichick thing was kind of last minute today because that just broke a couple hours ago. We still have to talk about an ex-Giant who got cut this week as well because we just love to make fun of him since he loves to make fun of Giants fans on a regular basis when he gets a chance. We still got to talk about the game. Oh, yeah, there's a game this week. We still got to talk about the picks, obviously, we'll do tomorrow as well. And I'm sure other news will pop up tomorrow as well as we try to makeshift and jigsaw puzzle this whole roster here back together. So appreciate you guys for watching. Oops, go ahead.
I was about to say, do you want to finish up some of Dad's comments? Because
go for it. I'm sorry. Yes.
I was going to say, because we also need to talk about tomorrow's picks.
Oh, I didn't even do that yet.
Do we do it live on the spot?
No, we'll do it tomorrow.
I was about to say, because I
told
everyone we're going to do it tomorrow morning, and we'll put them up maybe as a short.
There you go.
Where we leave?
But probably not
at
10 o'clock.
Probably. They said I was shocked to hear at the Bill Belichick move, 3-year contract for him. I thought I saw 5 years on ESPN. Jerry Foley saw Bill Belichick in New York City just earlier this week.
Yeah. Well, he's there a lot for business and stuff too. I mean, we can't assume he's there because of the Giants and that kind of stuff too. There's so much things he does media-wise this year.
Big time.
Anything.
Big time. Dorothy comes in. What's up, Dorothy? Man, LT really had a big effect on Bill Belichick.
Yeah, well, I mean, that'd be part of the, potential for why he went there at that point there. Obviously, I think he talked to Lawrence Taylor to see as far as what Lawrence Taylor thought of the college before he went there. He went to, but when he went to UNC, you're talking like the late 70s. I mean, it's changed a little bit. Changed.
I mean, we talked about from the 50s, so
yeah, that's true. But I'm saying, just shows the age. Just shows the age.
That's it.
Might as well talk to Michael Jordan while he's at it too, as well.
Yes, Air Jordan helps out.
Mia Hamm went there as well. There's a lot of people that went there. Let's see. Andy Griffith went there. Obviously, he's dead. You can't talk to him anymore. James Polk, can't talk to him anymore. He's dead. It's obviously been president many, 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 many years ago. But yeah, a lot of famous people went there.
Yeah. Well, up next, Deb comes in and says, I think the kids will go there just to play for him. He won't have to sell it. Talk about Bill Belichick going to University of North Carolina.
I think you have to sell it no matter what when it's that important decision.
You're going to have to sell a little bit, but just the name sells itself, and that's what I was trying to lay before.
The name gets you in the door. You still got to seal the deal because there's a lot of people coming through those doors if they're really good players. You don't think Dion is a big well for those guys? I'm just saying, Bill Belichick will be the only big name.
He's not, but it does help. And
it helps a lot more than anybody else UNC could have probably gotten.
100%. But also, Bill Belichick has more rings than Dion. And he's also was a coach for. So, unless you're like a running back or so, if you're on defense, you probably want to go hang out with Bill Belichick over Prime.
Yeah, you definitely wouldn't want to hang out with the best cornerback to ever play the game. That would be horrible.
Yeah, I know. Just saying. Dorothy comes back to us. Most of the kids I know want to go hang out with the 7-year-olds who have girlfriends just under 24.
That's what I'm saying.
Listen, they got more in common with his girlfriend, so you're not wrong.
His girlfriend is 8 years older than him, probably.
Yeah, just about. Yeah.
Kids he's trying to draft, sorry. Kids he's trying to convince to come over.
But here, let me tell you how great this college is, and look at my hot girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deb comes and says, I agree with you, Rob, on this one. Bill Walsh was no Belichick reputation-wise.
Well, I'm just saying that because Bill Belichick was the greatest coach. Bill Walsh was the greatest coach of the 80s. I'm just trying to use that for that reason of that analogy. Like our generation, when we were younger kids that knew football but weren't old enough to watch it and fully understand it,
But you can also argue Belichick was the greatest in 2000 2010s.
Oh, I don't disagree on that whatsoever. And I'm just saying, I'm trying to think, like I said, the analogy, and I just don't know how the kids look at him.
Yeah.
The kids that are in high school that didn't really get to see most of his wins, most of his championships. They saw him win 1 or 2 rings and then fall flat in his face once Brady left. I'm just not sure. Like I said, I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure if they hold Missy in regard. That's all I'm saying.
But you also saw you also saw all of New England implode as soon as he left as well.
I would say we should poll teenagers, but that might get us in trouble.
Yeah, that's easy there. That's Drew's idea. YouTube, that was Drew's idea, not mine. Drew. All right. Deb also comes to saying, kids with their eyes are getting on into the NFL are not just football fans. I'm thinking they will play for him, which is what I was saying. Which she follows right up with, Belichick can help them transition into NFL because he's NFL experience, which once again, that's a selling point right then and there. Like if you're looking for like a car that has a lot of safety features and you go in highest rated safety cars, you're going to see a Saab and you're like, oh, okay. Like it is what it is. And minivans, I don't know. Deb comes in Orchards of Asian Day Spa.
Listen, that place is spectacular. I went there. They made sure there's absolutely no extra lotion whatsoever. They used all the friction to make sure it dry it all up at that point and didn't get lotion everywhere. It was spectacular. I was very relaxed afterwards.
I bet you were. I've still never been to masseuse.
Okay, first off, I've been to many masseuses and I enjoy it. It's one of the things that we do for vacations. The first day of vacation is massage day. Sometimes, sometimes also mani pedi, but we'll see. It depends on. That's something. That's not something for me as much.
Do you guys have to pay the same amount because there's way more body to cover with you?
Actually, I can't tell how many times I got a pedicure, and the pedicurist actually makes the joke saying that because it's size 14 shoe. Well, we should charge you extra. No, you shouldn't. Stop.
Yeah, a foot's a foot. Come on now.
Yeah, you pay by the foot, not by the foot. Oh. All right, guys. Again, we'll be back again tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, there to go over all the latest Giants news, picks, and, of course, a little quick preview of the Ravens game. It'll be very quick, though, because let's be honest, nobody thinks we has a shot in hell. So, again, as always, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and, of course, Rob's favorite.
Drew's right there.
And, of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms as well. That's Apple, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Amazon, all the big ones there. If you haven't already, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share button there. We count on y'all to help us out there because, quite frankly, we suck at marketing here. And we are getting ever so close to that 1,000 subscriber, especially on YouTube.
So close.
So close, guys. We are needing another 162 people. That's it. So if everybody watching or listens that hasn't already done it hits it, we should hit it in a couple episodes. Probably won't work out that way, but I could be optimistic.
Yeah.
So appreciate you guys for watching, listening as always. And as always, Giant fans.
Go Dreamman! Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please.